Welcome to US Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: we are past the peak of anti-Brexit fever, the left is falling out of love with Europe. Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 fantasy game, the cheat sheet you need. Hunter Biden pleads not guilty to gun charges at Delaware court. Pakistan announces big crackdown on migrants in the country illegally, including 1.7 million Afghans. Kidnapping suspect who left ransom note also gave police a clue, his fingerprints. We are past the peak of anti-Brexit fever, the left is falling out of love with Europe. Telegraph. Brexit. Britain has not fallen behind Western Europe in economic terms, contrary to claims made by supporters of the EU, according to Ambrose Evans-Pritchard in the Telegraph. Evans-Pritchard points out that all of the Eurozone's large industrial states, including France, Germany, and Italy, have lagged behind the rest of the world in terms of growth since 2016. The UK and France are level pegging at just over 8% growth, with Germany at 5.5% and Italy at 5%. Evans-Pritchard also notes that business investment in the UK has not fared as poorly as initially thought, as it is above its historical trend line in real terms and 10% above its pre-pandemic level. He argues that the negative forecasts from multilateral bodies such as the OECD and the IMF have been proven wrong, and that the UK's decision to leave the EU has not resulted in the economic damage that was predicted. Evans-Pritchard concludes that the political damage caused by Brexit is a more valid criticism, but argues that the war in Ukraine has shown that NATO, the G7, and the global alliance of liberal democracies are the most important alliances in today's world. Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 fantasy game, the cheat sheet you need. Telegraph. The ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 Dream 11 fantasy game is already available to play, offering players the chance to win signed memorabilia, vouchers, and tickets to next year's Men's T20 World Cup. Participants are given a budget of 100 credits to select their 11 players, with each player costing between 9 and 11 credits. The team must include up to 4 wicket-keepers, between 3 and 6 batsmen, between 1 and 4 all-rounders, and between 3 and 6 bowlers. They must also select a captain, who scores double points, and a vice-captain, who multiplies their points by 1.5. Participants cannot choose more than 7 players from any one of the 10 teams. Throughout the tournament, participants can make 145 changes to their team, including 3 changes per match. Points are awarded for batting, bowling, and fielding performances, with bonuses available for milestones such as half-centuries and centuries. The game also includes strategies for selecting players, such as prioritizing openers and all-rounders, targeting bowlers who take wickets by bowling or LBW, and targeting weaker teams. Hunter Biden pleads not guilty to gun charges at Delaware court. Telegraph. Hunter Biden has pleaded not guilty to a charge of illegal gun possession. He faces 3 felony charges stemming from his purchase of a revolver in 2018, during a period when he was heavily addicted to drugs. Biden is charged with making false statements on forms required for the gun purchase, as well as illegal possession of the gun. These charges add to Biden's multiple legal troubles and controversies, which have become a constant drag on his father Joe Biden's political standing as he seeks re-election in 2024. If convicted, Biden could face up to 25 years in prison. Pakistan announces big crackdown on migrants in the country illegally, including 1.7 million Afghans. The Toronto Star. Pakistan's government has announced a major crackdown on migrants in the country illegally, with plans to expel them starting next month. The move has raised alarm among foreigners without documentation, including an estimated 1.7 million Afghans. The campaign is not targeted at Afghans specifically, but at all nationalities. Pakistani police have in the past arrested and deported Afghans without valid documentation, but this is the first time the government has announced such a major crackdown. There are currently 4.4 million Afghans living in Pakistan, including 1.7 million who are unregistered. Kidnapping suspect who left ransom note also gave police a clue, his fingerprints. The Toronto Star. A fingerprint on a ransom note led police to a kidnapping suspect's camper in New York where 9-year-old Charlotte Senna was found hidden in a cabinet. Craig Nelson Ross Jr., 46, has been arrested and charged with first-degree kidnapping. More charges against Ross are expected. Charlotte disappeared while riding her bike on September 25 at Moreau Lake State Park. State police issued an Amber Alert as it was believed an abduction had taken place. The family thanked the FBI, New York State Police, and all the agencies, families, friends, community members, neighbors and volunteers for their support in finding Charlotte. Wisconsin Democrat Katrina Shankland announces bid to unseat U.S. Representative Derek Van Orden. The Toronto Star. Democratic state legislator Katrina Shankland has announced her candidacy for U.S. Representative Derek Van Orden's seat in Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District. Shankland is joining a crowded field of Democratic challengers, including Tara Johnson, Rebecca Cook, and Aaron Knights. Van Orden, a former Navy SEAL, narrowly won the seat in 2020 after longtime Democratic incumbent Ron Kind decided not to seek re-election. Shankland's announcement comes after Van Orden was admonished by both Republicans and Democrats for yelling vulgarities at U.S. Senate pages in July. Brooks Robinson and Tim Wakefield, two very different ballplayers who knew what mattered most. Wall Street Journal. Brooks Robinson and Tim Wakefield, two baseball legends who passed away recently, both left behind them a better game. Robinson, who died at the age of 86, was an 18-time All-Star who redefined third base. Wakefield, who died at the age of 57, was a knuckleballer who won 2 World Series rings. Robinson and Wakefield were both renowned for their humility and kindness as well as their skill on the diamond, and will be remembered for their selflessness and the values they embodied as individuals. Moldova court says members of pro-Russian party can contest local elections. Reuters. Moldova's constitutional court has ruled that members of the pro-Russian Shore Party can participate in local elections next month, despite banning the opposition party less than 4 months ago. The court made the decision after considering a complaint by party members, who are accused by the West and the Moldovan government of trying to destabilize the country. The Shore Party was declared unconstitutional in June, triggering an immediate ban. The party's leader, Ilan Shor, who is currently living in Israel, was sentenced in absentia to 15 years in jail in April over a $1 billion bank scandal and money laundering. Well, folks, it seems like the anti-Brexit fever has finally peaked, and the left is falling out of love with Europe. According to The Telegraph, Brexit Britain has not fallen behind Western Europe in economic terms, contrary to what the EU supporters have been claiming. In fact, all the Eurozone's large industrial states, including France, Germany, and Italy, have actually lagged behind the rest of the world in terms of growth since 2016. So, it seems like leaving the EU hasn't been the disaster that some predicted. In other news, cricket fans, get ready for some fantasy gaming. The ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 Dream 11 fantasy game is already available to play, giving you the chance to win some amazing prizes. You'll have a budget of 100 credits to select your dream team of 11 players, with different players costing different credits. And don't worry, you'll have plenty of opportunities to make changes to your team throughout the tournament. So, get your cricketing skills ready and start playing. Now, on to some more serious news. Hunter Biden, the son of U.S. President Joe Biden, has pleaded not guilty to charges of illegal gun possession. This adds to his already long list of legal troubles, which have been a constant drag on his father's political standing. It seems like the Biden family just can't catch a break. Moving on to Pakistan, the government has announced a major crackdown on migrants living in the country illegally, including an estimated 1.7 million Afghans. This has raised concerns among foreigners without proper documentation, as they face the risk of expulsion. It's a tough situation, but the Pakistani government is determined to take action. In a rather bizarre turn of events, a kidnapping suspect in New York left behind a ransom note that had his fingerprints on it. Well, that certainly made it easy for the police to track him down and rescue the kidnapped child. It just goes to show, sometimes criminals can be their own worst enemy. Shifting our attention to the world of politics, Democratic state legislator Katrina Shankland has announced her bid to unseat U.S. Representative Derek Van Orden in Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District. Shankland is joining a crowded field of Democratic challengers, and it'll be interesting to see how this race unfolds. And finally, in the world of sports, we lost 2 baseball legends recently. Brooks Robinson, a legendary third baseman, and Tim Wakefield, a knuckleballer, both left behind a legacy of skill, humility, and kindness. They will be remembered not only for their contributions to the game but also for the values they embodied as individuals. That's all for today, folks. Remember, Brexit may not be as disastrous as some claim. Fantasy cricket is here to entertain you. Hunter Biden is in legal trouble again. Pakistan is cracking down on illegal migrants. Criminals can be really dumb. Politics is heating up in Wisconsin, and we've lost 2 great baseball players. Now, it's time for you to share your thoughts. What do you make of all these news stories? I'm all ears. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6do Brief via email.